So when that power is used to relate to people, instead of power being used to punish the oppressor, power will now be used to oppress. Are you understanding the world today now? Before this lecture, it was a strange world out there. Strange world out there. Can't understand it. But after Surah Kahf, now I am understanding the world. Those who control the world, those who have power in their hands, now use power to oppress. And so those who are weak, injustice has been done to them, they are the ones who are now punished. And the oppressor is left scot-free. Secondly, there will now be disharmony between power here and power there. And so who wants to live in a world like this, which is so different from that world? And so the heart of the believer would long to get out of this dunya. When power rests on foundations which are essentially godless, that power will now also be used to punish those who have faith. The war on terrorism. Notice it's only Muslims who are being targeted. Did you notice that? Only Muslims, yeah. Tomorrow the same thing. Only Muslims, only Muslims, only Muslims. Power will now be used to target and to punish those who have faith. The more faith you have, the more they'll target you. And power will now be used to punish those who are righteous in their conduct. If you're wicked, you get away. But if you want to be righteous in your conduct, they will go after you like hungry dogs. This is the world of Gog and Magog. Now then, how will power, when it rests on the foundations which are godless, how will that power relate to the primitive peoples of the world? With Zulkarnain, he had the good sense to leave them as they were. See? But no, when Gog and Magog are released, you will see the world experiencing this strange phenomenon, that power will now be used to ruthlessly destroy the primitive way of life. Has this already happened in North America, where the American Indians were ruthlessly exterminated like cockroaches by those who then dressed up and went to church on Sunday morning and declared, "We are the civilized people. Follow us." That ruthless extermination of the primitive peoples is still going on. Guess who are the majority of people in the Canadian prisons? Yes, the native Indians. They fill the prisons of Canada today. Guess who are the people who weep the most in Australia now? Yes, the indigenous peoples. Yes. I went to Canberra, and they showed me this brand sparkling new Parliament building. But across the road, I saw a hut built with all kinds of plywood and so on, many different colors, small hut. And there was a big sign, Parliament of the Aborigines. It's still there, you can go and take a look at it. And so the primitive peoples of the world are going to be targeted and attacked, and the primitive way of life will be destroyed, stamped out ruthlessly by a people who have no humanity, no kindness. They know nothing about it. That's what you're dealing with when Gog and Magog are going to be released. And those primitive people who survive the storm, you will see them. They'll be in blue jeans and eating McDonald's hamburgers. and drinking whiskey, and drunk, because the reality that they have to face is too painful for them to cope with. This is what the world is going to be like when Gog and Magog are released. The Qur'an is warning. When will they be released? How will we know that they are released? And what happens when they are released? Does the Qur'an tell us anything more? Before we go to the Prophet ﷺ, just go to the Qur'an. To the one more reference in the Qur'an, only one more. And where is it? In Surah Al-Anbiya. Surah Al-Anbiya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since I mentioned this last night in my lecture, I can do it very quickly now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about a town. All those who were there yesterday, put up your hand. Good. He speaks about a town which he destroyed, the people were expelled, and then he placed a ban on them, they could never return until Gog and Magog are released. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. And they spread out in every direction, procreate, make carbon copies of themselves in all directions. So they become the world order. They take control of the world. When that happens, then you will see these people being brought back to their town. Which town is it, we ask? The method we used last night was to go to the Prophet ﷺ, go to all the ahadith on Gog and Magog. I think I have a lot of them in this book, Jerusalem, in the Qur'an. Go to that, and then you will find, I found 58 ahadith in 9 books of ahadith. And now go through all of these ahadith and see which towns are mentioned linked with Gog and Magog. There's only one. Only one. Satu. Which one is it? Jerusalem. Only Jerusalem. Indicating, as plain as daylight, that the town is Jerusalem. And so the Qur'an is saying that when you see the Jews being brought back to the Holy Land, the explanation which even the University of Singapore can never give, the explanation is that it is the world order of Gog and Magog which have brought the Jews back to the Holy Land. Now this is something of tremendous importance, because the Jews are back in the Holy Land now. If this lecture was delivered 100 years ago, it would not have the impact that it has today, because the Jews are back in the Holy Land, and the state of Israel has been established, while the ulama of Islam were eating halwa. Yeah? Now that we know that Gog and Magog are responsible for bringing the Jews back to the Holy Land, that Gog and Magog are those who control the world, it is now possible for us to go in now and identify Gog and Magog. Don't look so worried now. We go to a hadith first. The hadith is located in Sahih Bukhari 8 times. 8 times in Sahih Bukhari. What I have done in this book is I have recorded all 8 for you in different, slightly different variations, but all 8 are here. When you have 8 ahadith here in Sahih Bukhari, you cannot dismiss this because of one hadith in Sahih Muslim that appears to be in conflict with this. These are 8 in Sahih Bukhari. What does it say? The Prophet said, the Prophet ﷺ was asleep at the home of his wife, Zainab radiallahu ta'ala. He saw something in his sleep. It alarmed him. He woke up. His face was flushed, all red. And he said, Waylul lil Arab, woe unto the Arabs, min sharrin qad iktarama, because of a great evil which will now come upon them.